Hi guys, Miss Stevens here, and I'm going to go over how to properly grease and take care of your corks on the clarinet and on the saxophone. Okay, first thing that we're going to need is some cork grease. Okay, and a lot of them come in this kind of looks like lip balm kind of casing. You might have the kind that comes in a little round tub or even in a little square tub. Okay, but I think most of you probably have the one that looks like this. Okay, just want to remove the cap. Of course, the clarinet has 4 corks on it. You have the mouthpiece, one on each end of the top joint and one on the lower joint. You want to take the grease, and I just kind of rub it around here. Now, to just rub it around as so is not going to be good enough. You're going to have to get your fingers a little dirty. As you can see, I got a white clump of it here. And then in some areas it looks like I have hardly any. So you're going to need to take your finger and kind of rub that cork grease into the cork. You're not going to need to do this every time. If you have a new clarinet, you may need to grease the corks a lot in the beginning because they're new and they're going to be very dry, and your instrument's going to be very difficult to put together. But kind of the rule of thumb is anytime your instrument is hard to put together, you will need to apply some grease to the corks. Okay, and do each as so. You will find in the winter time that they dry out more quickly, very much like your skin and your lips. If you notice that you use more hand lotion and lip balm in the winter time, because we experience a lot of cracked and chapped hands and lips. It's the same for your corks. The air dries them out much quicker. Okay. So as we put the instrument together, it should go together quite easily. Now, if you're over greasing your corks, your clarinet's not going to stay together very easily. And you're going to have sealing problems, and which will cause you some playing difficulties. So we want to make sure that we do not over grease. Again, only if you've got new corks, you'll find that you maybe are greasing every time that you are putting it together. But other than that, it's really just going to be maybe every few weeks, or as the instrument is, if you're having to push it together, that's when you want to add some grease. On the saxophone, we only have 1 cork. And this one's actually a new cork, so I've been putting lots of grease on it lately. Again, just take your finger and work that in. Okay, and I always keep a rag handy for cleanup. And you know, should you get any down on your saxophone, you do want to, you know, wipe that off and clean that up. Other way, in reference to the clarinet, if you get, and on the saxophone, if you get too much on there, you will notice when you put the instrument together, and I didn't add too much so you're not going to see this, but you might get a lot of white residue here, which is the cork grease pushing between the joints as you put it together. That is definitely a sign that you have way too much cork grease on, and again would want to take a rag and clean that up. But that is an indication that you're putting way too much on. With the saxophone, when you put your mouthpiece on, you will see the cork grease will actually push to the end of the cork, and you'll have a big white ring around it that you'll have to remove, and that's an indication that you have way too much cork grease on your instrument. Okay, so that's how you properly grease your corks on your clarinet and saxophone, and I will see you guys in class.